I'm so conscious of that camera that all I can do is stare at it, but I don't know how to start the show off other than saying hello to the internet. There should be some fancy fading graphics going in now. There should be like a magical blue bar on this left-hand side. And Deandra, I thought that how we'd start the show. Deandra, actually say hello to Deandra, everyone. Deandra, wait.
Hello,
Deandra,
everyone.
Do something embarrassing. Okay. Deandra and I actually can't see each other right now. We're just doing the voice thing over MSN. But I thought that this is, by the way, the show about our hockey. And I don't mean our hockey, I mean our hockey via Reddit. And I think that this is the first time that we should actually mention Reddit on this show because I guess just by being on YouTube, we're going to get views outside of the our hockey community. And I really don't want to bring the YouTube, like, herp derp crowd to the hockey subreddit because we have a really good hockey community here and I don't want to bring, like, HF boards and stuff like that. I mean, if we ever get big enough, they're going to hear about it, but we won't mention Reddit. We're gonna mention the posts, and we're gonna mention the usernames that post them, and we're gonna mention some of the comments and stuff like that. But we're not gonna specifically ever mention, or we're gonna try not to. You guys will catch us.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
A lot. We're gonna try not to. We're gonna try not to talk about Reddit specifically. And basically, what we're gonna do is just grab the top stories that we see on our hockey, and we only have a 15-minute time limit because of YouTube, so we should probably get started.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, let's start with. It's the biggest story right now besides the Sedin show, which was mentioned on SportsCenter, which I'm glad was commented on. But it was still funny nonetheless.
I didn't see that on SportsCenter, so.
Yeah, so many people didn't see it on SportsCenter, but it was. I think it was during the middle of a game maybe, which is why I was watching.
But when I saw, like, Crisis Among Sedin Brothers, I was like, oh my god, are they, like, fighting against, like, who wants the Art Ross Moore kind of thing?
No, the moment that I saw it, I was like, oh man, someone's got it already reposted to the hockey subreddit.
Yeah, the top comment on that was good, though.
Yeah, it was good. And the second comment was talking about how it was on SportsCenter. So good job, Reddit community.
But you just mentioned Reddit.
Yeah, I said this is the only episode we're doing it, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine kind of relates back to the goalie topic. There was a post that Lundqvist for Vezina with his 10th shutout.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
And it was by Esplo.
Mm-hmm.
And
was it a link to an article or was it just
it was
as
a self post, yeah. And it was basically saying now that he's got his 10th shutout. I'm pretty sure Price has 9 though, and there's not that big of a difference between the top. It's like 7, 8, 8, 9, 10 for shutouts. So, it wasn't the top comment. The top comment was basically Tim Thomas has us in the bag, which I tend to agree.
Yeah.
If you're the top in save percentage, goals against,
and his streak about halfway through the season, or even from the very beginning up till the last 3 quarters, it's just been remarkable. It basically didn't matter how badly he stunk after that. He had the Vezina locked.
Yeah, and I think the most interesting comment was maybe the second or third top, and I'm going to butcher this. Ibn Sujiwa.
Man, we're going to have to get you guys to write out your usernames phonetically for us somewhere.
He had a Boston logo beside his name, but he said Lundqvist isn't even in the top 5 for save percentage or goals against, and I think that counts you out right there.
Yeah.
When you have someone like Luongo, who's...
The post was about Lundqvist winning the Vezina, not just being nominated?
It was like Lundqvist for Vezina with 10 shutouts, something like that.
I think it's there's no way I think Lundqvist is winning the Vezina, but I think it's interesting to see whether or not he gets nominated, because you've got 2 shoo-ins for the Vezina nominations, and that's Price and Thomas. And the third one is kind of a toss-up between Lundqvist... Pekka Rinne. He's played on and Luongo. Luongo has had a stellar season, quietly in Vancouver, because everyone has that expectation that he will have a stellar season. The only time you ever hear about Luongo is when he plays average, but he should be in the running too.
I almost say my top 3 are Thomas, and then Luongo, or Rene, who's
You don't think
depending
that Lundqvist gets a nomination?
Well, originally I would have said Price, but I was looking at his numbers and
Wait, did you just say Thomas, Rene, Luongo and not go with Price?
Yeah.
You don't think that Price is getting nominated?
I think he's more of a Hart Trophy candidate.
How can you be no? There's no way. If you're a Hart Trophy candidate, you are pretty much Vezina, like, by default. Pretty much.
His numbers just aren't.
What are his numbers? Do you have his numbers on you?
Okay. No, but he's like 8th, 9th in a lot of things.
Yeah, okay. I hadn't actually looked up his stats, but he just, whenever I watch him play, he just seems to play phenomenally.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is I've seen him play a lot, and he's unbelievable. It seems he wins those games hands down for them, and that's why I think he's more of a MVP rather than best goalie. I have something very tiny, but it was pretty funny. Do you see the Jeremy Roenick pregame state?
No.
It had like 5 upvotes or something, but I just watched it tonight, and it's basically, I don't know when it was from, it was old, and it was a preseason game, and they were in LA, and I guess like this disco song came on,
I saw the Jeremy Roenick disco something in the title.
Yeah, he literally just like broke it down for like 30 seconds on the ice, and the crowd was loving it. That's awesome. And I just thought it was awesome.
That reminds me of Disco Dan for Pittsburgh, Dan Bilesma.
Yeah.
There was another post today about Michael Grabner for Rookie of the Year. And I remember talking to you months ago about how watch out for Grabner. Like, he's making a charge. And this kid, maybe this is a good time to announce our bias. Deandra and I are both Vancouver fans. We try and be as objective as we can, but I guess that's where our fanship lies. And so we had the privilege of watching Grabner's very first NHL games. And he seemed to just have a spark. There wasn't really a place for him to play in Vancouver, and we needed a D-man. And if he ended up turning out to be a stud, it was just like a risk that we kind of had to take. So I don't really blame the Canucks for getting rid of him. But man, has he looked good, and man, is he quick, and man, can he shoot. I've got some. Did you see the article that was posted?
I didn't have a look. I've heard a few things from it.
Okay, well, check out these stats. So. As of January 3rd, so basically halfway point in the season, or close to that, Grabner had 11 points, and since then he's got 37 points in 38 games.
That's I remember his hot streak at the beginning of January. Yeah. He was flying.
And he leads rookies in goals.
Wasn't his plus minus
and he's plus
like 17
on the New York Islanders.
That's crazy.
I mean,
that's the biggest stat, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's crazy. But in all honesty, I think I actually have my Game Center in the background here. But I watch a lot of out of town games whenever I can, and Jeff Skinner for the Carolina Hurricanes, he is good. He's damn good. He's leading the league. He's leading the rookies in points. He's also, I think I read somewhere that he's 5 years younger than Grabner and 3 years younger than Couture, 2 other potential Calders. So, yeah.
I think he's 18 and Grabner.
Skinner, I think Skinner's got it for sure. But I think that this the nominee conversation, much like the Vezina nominee conversation, is really interesting. Who gets nominated for the Calder this year? I think a guy like John Carlson in Washington has been instrumental in the Caps turnaround. As the Caps are kind of scared this year. Years before, they always had the points in the regular season, but no one was really that scared of them. This year, you don't want to play Washington in the playoffs. And I think John Carlson's had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, as much as I hate to say it, I think it's just going to come down to points in the next 9 games, or however many are left, and depending how close it is. I mean, if Grabner's only a point behind Skinner, then he might get it, but if Skinner's got a reasonable lead, I don't think there's any conversation. But you're right, the nominees is going to be an interesting topic.
I want to talk about, did you watch that video after I told you to watch it? The WMU Broncos video.
I did.
Did you cry?
I watched that when I got home. No, I didn't cry. It was
Did you
very
well
good.
up? Did it tug at your heartstrings?
Are you trying to make me sound like a heartless?
No, no, no. No, maybe I'm probably making myself sound like a softie because I didn't
No,
cry, but man, that tugs at your heartstrings.
Yeah, no kidding. And I think that's good to mention because I, like myself, I didn't watch it because it's just something that you don't see it rise to the top. Sometimes you miss
because
these things,
it's college hockey too, so a lot of I actually really like that, by the way. I like the fact that this is our hockey and not our NHL. I like seeing all things popular in the hockey world in one place. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen that video, check it out. It's almost like we see these stories all the time in hockey. I think someone even commented. Sorry, I can't credit you because I don't have your info up. But I think someone commented that it's common for hockey teams to adopt kids with fatal diseases, and because it's good for the kid. It really helps the kid out. The kids usually just get a blast out of it, and it also helps build team chemistry, and it's a way for the hockey team to interact with the community. So it's something that like we know that the Canucks do the Canucks for Kids Charity Foundation just a few nights ago, it seems. So we know that this happens quite a bit, but it's still got to me. Like they take the kid and they let him ride around on the Zamboni, and they have pictures of it.
Yeah, that was really cool. Hey.
It's all a slideshow. It would have been probably a little bit more moving
Nice.
if it was like a video.
Video.
But it's still really cool and probably worth checking out.
Worth a watch. Yeah. I
Go
agree.
for it.
I think this is the only thing I had left, and it's another just tiny one, and it was who will start in net for Anaheim tonight? And I wasn't even really. I mean, we know that Jonas Hiller's out with vertigo.
Yeah,
or
they
something
activated him
odd
off
like
the
that.
what's it called? IR. Yeah.
IR, yeah. But the top comment was, there's like 3 comments, and I don't even know if you call it the top, but Metropolis PT31 posted a web link of where they submit all the starting goals.
I have
for
seen
every
that
game.
website before.
And I had never seen it. I just thought it was interesting for like fantasy.
Yeah, you know,
hockey
I've only
people who
checked
have,
it like
2
one or two times, and it wasn't actually for fantasy hockey. It was when I was playing poker. For those of you who don't know, I used to make my living playing poker, but we'll leave that for now. And when I had money on Party, I sometimes, like, I bet on 10 games probably total in my life. And there was one game where I wanted to know who was starting for Vancouver. I think it was got to be a few years ago if I was still playing poker. And I wanted to know probably if like Raycroft was playing or Luongo, because if Raycroft was playing, I probably wasn't gonna bet on it. But yeah, I also really like that they don't speculate. Like if they say they don't know who's starting, or if they don't, or if they've heard it just through a rumor, then they note that. Like they say we have no.
Okay, see, I didn't know that, because all the ones from tonight were like, they just said the names, and I was wondering how trustworthy it actually is.
Yeah, well, it might be a different site. There might be several of them, but the one that I'm remembering is they basically gave you an indication of how confident they were. Like they'd say probable, or like rumored, or not sure, or no word, or something like that. Maybe that's changed. It's been years, but yeah. Deandra asked me how we plan on signing off. You know what? Let's make that like a Reddit question and say how should we sign off, and we'll just do whatever the top voted comment is.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds good. Sure.
Wave to the
All right.
camera.
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry about the audio quality, guys. We almost had a disaster with that episode because I thought that I lost all the audio because I wasn't actually recording on my good microphone. But then I remembered that I had a secondary audio source from the camcorder. So the crappy audio that you guys had to put up with for that episode, which is ironically why we waited so long to start the show in the first place, should be fixed by the next episode. And if you guys have any suggestions or anything, just let us know. Thanks.